Well, let's cross now to Barbara Slavin, who's the director of the Future of Iran initiative at the Atlantic Council. She joins us now live from Washington. Barbara, really great to have you with us. So, Iran is in a bit of a precarious situation here. It almost has no choice but to retaliate for the death of one of its most influential leaders, yet it has to be measured enough not to risk an all-out war with the United States. So would retaliation likely be by proxy? What action could we see?
Has a number of ways in which it can retaliate. It could use its proxies, as you mentioned, groups like Hezbollah, which have cells all over the world. It could mount a cyber attack of some sort on American infrastructure. It could go after Americans in the Middle East or in other parts of the world. Diplomats, military people, even ordinary civilians. It's really going to be up to them. I think they're betting that Donald Trump does not want a full-scale war. After all, we have to remember that Trump campaigned on a promise to end these kinds of wars in the Middle East. But this is going to be a very, very tense time. Another thing I'm looking for is Iran to further move out of the nuclear agreement that it reached in 2015, possibly taking quite aggressive steps to restart that program.
I want to just touch on that statement that we just played earlier, a little bit earlier, from Iran's foreign minister, Javad Zarif, which would seem to me to provide a few clues on what they might do in retaliation to this. He says that Iran holds the right to respond at any time, in any manner it will. But he says we will not be involved in the U.S. smear campaigns and their blackmailing. We'll give a proper response at any time and manner. When he says that the response is going to be out of Tehran's hands, what does he mean by that?
I'm really not sure. I mean, maybe that's some suggestion that outraged Shia Muslims will somehow conduct attacks on the United States in various places. Um, on the other hand, Iran's ambassador to the UN gave an interview this evening in which he said that Iran would respond to this with a military attack, because this was a military attack. It's in Iran's interest now to keep all of this quite vague, because I think they understand that there are a lot of jitters, both in the region and in the United States, about the consequences of this assassination. And many people are
Barbara,
afraid
one
that
thing that seems to be, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. One thing that seems to be
okay.
lost in all of this is the Iranian people. You know, you have a population of 80 million people. How do you think that they view this U.S. airstrike, and what action do you think that they want their government to take?
I guess it depends on which Iranians you're talking about. I mean, supporters of the regime are outraged. Many Iranians thought that Qasim Soleimani was a hero for his fight against Islamic fundamentalists of the Sunni variety, ISIS, Al Qaeda, and so on. But others, frankly, are very unhappy with the economic situation in the country, which is dire, and with the repressive actions taken just recently by the not the Quds Force, which operates outside Iran, but by other security forces, Revolutionary Guards, Basij within Iran. They killed hundreds of people and arrested thousands to put down protests. So I think it's a mixed picture. Mostly, I think Iranians feel that they are in a terrible situation and that no one is on their side right now.
Barbara, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei wasted no time in appointing a replacement for Soleimani, and we know that it was somebody that was a very close aide to him. It's the deputy commander of the Quds Force. So in terms of what Iran hopes to achieve regionally with the replacement of Soleimani with Ismail Qani, is it business as usual?
Very much so. And I would also argue that Iran's regional influence will increase, not decrease, because the United States' position in Iraq is increasingly untenable. And it's very likely that the 5,000 troops, U.S. troops in Iraq, will have to leave. And if they leave, then the several hundred troops in Syria will also have to leave. So this is a Pyrrhic victory. over a U.S. adversary. I think the blowback will be far worse.
Barbara Slavin with the Atlantic Council, really appreciate your thoughts. Thanks for being with us.